folks, and welcome to Blogjam 16. This one is all about double stops, and we're going to be looking obviously at Margaritaville. There's lots of songs that do this, but I'm just going to pick this one for now, and we'll do this a couple of different ways. First way is this way. And another way to do that is this. And one more way is this. So we'll examine these, and essentially with a guitar, double stops can be achieved quite easily by taking just a couple of notes of a particular chord. And in this case, we're going to be looking at the first one here. And if you take a look at an A chord, you're normally playing an A chord like that. If you just take the first three strings, you're going to have open, second, and second. If you move that up one fret, you get first, third, and third. And so this becomes a movable chord as long as you're only playing those three notes. So this A becomes a B flat, one up, becomes a B, C, C sharp, and D. There's the first two notes. Now those notes are actually from, like I said, as we worked it up, a D chord. And if you listen to the beginning of the song, so you can do that double stop up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it down 2 frets and bring it back up, part of the melody. Okay. Now the next one we're going to do is a double stop that's based around the actual D shape of a chord. So if you take a D, and at this point we're just going to play the first 2 notes of a D, so it becomes those 2 notes. And I find it easier just to do that, this way. Still as the first 2 notes of a D. Now that is a D, so that's a D sharp, or E flat, E, F, F sharp, G. So in this song, it does change from a D to a G, so it makes sense that when you do the melody, you would change your formation from this original chord that we did here. Move that up just a bit closer, you can get a good look at that. So again, this is on 5 and this is on 7. Now if you slide that up and make it into a D shape, it becomes this. See how that's a D? If I was to play like that, you recognize it. So this is your A formation. We got, again, from the first 3 notes of an A down here and just moved it up till we got to the D. D shape. First 2. And then straight to a D. Makes sense, so we'll do it again. Okay. Now there's lots of ways you can do these melodies, but this particular song, because it's quite simple and it's essentially 3 chords, the D, the G, and the A, it's just a 1, 4, 5 in the key of D. So we can do a lot with the D, the G, and the A chord with that. So if you take a look at the next way we're going to do this, again, we're starting with the D, but now instead of up here, we're doing a different D. Still a D chord, just a different voicing. And what we're going to do is this. And what we're doing there is we're dropping that to here, to second, and again, the E is open, so it's very similar to this chord we originally played at the very beginning. And what we're going to do is slide that down 5 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you start off with your D, back up, Okay, and then to this chord, remember? And then to a whole D. And the other one again, just for review. Okay, now the last one, again, it's all about voicing in chords. So we're, instead of playing a full D like this, we're going to remove that one so you can actually play it this way. I just find it easier to do this. First finger on the second fret of the G, and second finger on third fret of the B, and you get this. And because the song's in D, you can let that D string ring open. So you're just lifting that off. So that A becomes a G. And if you remember, this is an A. Right? If you recall our fretted notes, right? So in other words, the open is the E, first is the F, third is the G, and fifth is the A. So it's an A on this string, the sixth, and it's an A on the first as well, on the fifth. So, right, this is also an A on the second fret of the G string, and of course the G open is G. So it makes sense that we should be able to do the same sort of melody. Now, what we're going to do now is go to a simple form of a G chord. Remember how we went, and then we went to a type of G? Well, that's exactly what we're doing here, just a different voicing. Now this G chord we're going to be playing is just a skeleton of an F-shaped chord. So if you were playing an F like this, and you move this up one fret, you get an F sharp. 2 frets, you get a G. So I'll move in real close and show you what I'm going to do here. All I'm going to do is remove this finger here, and I'm left with these 3 strings. Now we're not going to play the high E string. So in essence, we're just left with those 2 notes. 3rd fret on the B, 4th on the G. And you get this. Back to a D, lift it off, and then you play what is known as a D over F sharp. Now you can play a D like this and take your baby finger over here, but I just find it a lot easier just to bar across the second, and then take your second finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the B string, and take your 3rd finger and put it on the 4th fret of the D string. So together you would get this. Here's that G, D, lift off. Now I hope that makes sense, but in essence all we're doing with these double stops is we're playing a melody line with a harmony line by just simply playing shapes of chords, and known as different inversions of the same chord all the way up the neck. We're going to go into this in a lot more detail in a further blog, but for now, have fun with that, and we'll see you down the road.